On July 4, 1776, our founding fathers declared independence from a foreign power they believed was strangling their liberty. 250 years later, Congress just voted to do the opposite, handing a foreign military unprecedented access to our defense secrets, our weapons systems, and our intelligence operations. The House passed the NDAA with Section 219 intact on July 22, 216 to 212. And here's what they really don't want you to know. They blocked the amendment that would have stripped this provision, so there was never a separate vote on whether to merge our military with Israel's. The vote you just saw? That was the whole bill, take it or leave it. One Republican had the courage to vote no, Thomas Massie. Now the fight moves to the Senate, and what happens there will shape American sovereignty for decades. Buried inside the 2027 National Defense Authorization Act, a $1.15 trillion bill, is something called Section 219, the United States-Israel Defense Technology Cooperation Initiative. Sounds bureaucratic, sounds harmless. Let me tell you what it actually does. This provision orders the Secretary of Defense to appoint a special executive agent whose only job is to merge U.S. and Israeli military technology across nearly every sensitive area you can imagine. Missile defense, artificial intelligence, autonomous weapons systems, cybersecurity, quantum technology, electronic warfare, weapons co-production, biotechnology, supply chain integration. We need to ask ourselves, does this sound like a partnership between equals? Or does it sound like one nation handing over the keys to the castle? Enter Thomas Massie, Republican congressman from Kentucky, and Ro Khanna, Democrat from California. Bipartisan, rare as it gets in Washington, together, they introduced an amendment to strip Section 219 from the bill entirely. It was the one chance Congress had to debate this openly, to put every member on the record on this specific question. Should we merge our military with Israel's, yes or no? And the House Rules Committee, the gatekeepers who decide what even gets a vote, rejected it. No debate, no separate roll call on Section 219, just buried inside a $1 trillion must-pass bill. On July 22, the full NDAA came to the floor. The vote, 216 to 212. Republicans voted for it, nearly every Democrat voted against it, only 5 crossed the aisle. And one Republican stood alone in opposition, Thomas Massie. He kept his word. Let me be clear about what that means. 212 members of Congress voted against this bill. But because the amendment to strip Section 219 was never allowed, not one of them got to cast a vote specifically against merging our defense technology with a foreign nation. The Rules Committee made sure of that. Now, I want to be careful here. Don't get me wrong, I have no quarrel with the Israeli people. This isn't about picking sides in a foreign conflict. This is about American sovereignty. The Defense Intelligence Agency, our own military intelligence arm, rates Israeli espionage against the United States as critical. That is their highest threat level. Let that sink in. The same nation Section 219 would embed inside our defense supply chain is actively spying on us at the highest threat level our intelligence community recognizes. Paul Pillar, a man who spent more than 25 years at the CIA, put it bluntly. In intelligence, Israel is more of an adversary than an ally. His words, not mine. And Joe Kent, the former director of the National Counterterrorism Center, warned that this kind of access means backdoors and spyware can be installed that will most certainly be used by the Israelis to influence U.S. policy. Quite frankly, anybody who can't see the danger in handing a foreign intelligence service access to our most sensitive military technology is sticking their head in the sand. But here's what makes this even more alarming. Benjamin Netanyahu himself has described this as my plan. His words, he wants to move from what he calls aid to partnership, phasing out direct U.S. military aid and replacing it with permanent, institutional integration of our defense industries. So, what Netanyahu was really saying was, get rid of the annual aid package that Congress can debate and vote on every year, and replace it with a permanent merger of our militaries that can never be unwound. As national security analyst Steve Simon wrote, there may be no turning back if this provision becomes law. The next few months may very well decide the U.S.-Israel relationship for decades to come. But here's the thing. The House vote is not the end. The bill now goes to the Senate, where a parallel provision, Section 1217, sits inside their version of the NDAA. The same concept, the same merger, different bill number, and there is real opposition forming. Bernie Sanders has come out swinging. arguing Congress should not give Israel greater military integration than a NATO ally without a separate vote. Senators Chris Van Hollen, Elizabeth Warren, Ed Markey, Jeff Merkley, and Peter Welch have all joined him in demanding that the Senate not advance the NDAA until lawmakers can debate these Israel-related provisions openly. The House just showed us how this game is played: bury the controversial provision in a must-pass bill, block the amendment, and dare members to vote against the whole thing. Now the question is whether the Senate will do any different. Our founders did not shed their blood or pledge their lives, their fortunes, or their sacred honor so that Congress could quietly merge our military with a foreign nation without even allowing a separate vote. We need to ask ourselves, are we still a nation that governs by the consent of the governed? Or have we reached the point where a handful of committee members can bury the most consequential sovereignty decision of our generation inside a $1 trillion bill and dare anyone to stop them? The House failed that test. Now it's the Senate's turn. If you believe the American people deserve a real vote on this, if you believe our military should answer to us, not to a foreign government, then make your voice heard. Call your senators, tell them you're watching, and if you would like to sign your name in support of American sovereignty, go to my website. The link is below. Will you join me, America?